Alright everybody, this is the start of part 4 of the Batwing build, and what I'm going to be working on today is the seams on the bottom of the Batwing. On each side of the wings here there's some seam work I got to do, so I'm going to tape that off and hit it with some perfect plastic putty. A little bit of cleanup, shouldn't take that long to do. Probably be a little tedious, but it shouldn't be too bad. And then Batman, both his arms, I need to work on those. Either X-Acto knife or a file, clean those up. Hopefully I won't have to use any putty, but if I have to, I'll clean him up. This is the perfect plastic putty I used for the top of the Batwing. Turned out good. And I also used the Mr. Surfacer. Like I showed in a previous video, I used the 500, but clean the bottom up. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and use some perfect plastic putty. So I'll start working on the Batwing. When I finish with the seams, I'll do an update on that. So I'm going to get working on the Batwing. Figured I'd share this with everybody. Once that's all done, I'll film it. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Batwing. You can see here I put the tape down and I hit it with some perfect plastic putty. I'm going to let that sit and dry for a while before I start working on it. Batman, I used an X-Acto knife. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I cleaned up his arms. Everything's nice and smooth, so all I got to do is hit it with a couple more coats of primer. I'll let that sit for a while. Once I hit it with some primer, then he should be ready for some paint. Back on the Batwing, I'll just let this dry for a little while. On the instructions on the back of the perfect plastic putty, it says it don't take long to dry, and then you can clean it up with water or sandpaper. So I'm going to just let this sit for a while. Once I clean this all up, I'll film it, get back with everybody once that's done. This is just a quick update on the Batwing, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Batwing. I just put the cockpit into the top of the Batwing. I did that last week. Got a little gap back here. I'm going to have to clean that up. I stumbled on a little problem too. If I light the size panels on the cockpit and put old Batman in there, he's going to block the lighting with his arms. So I'm going to have to decide whether I'm going to put him in there or just have it an open cockpit to where I can take it off and take him out, put the canopy back on, and have it that way. I'll have to put the lighting in to the side of the cockpit. I'll have to figure out where I'm going to put the LEDs. Once I get that idea and put the LEDs in, I'll film it. But if I put him in there, he's just going to block all the work I did for the lighting of the cockpit. Didn't think about that. The front of the cockpit lighting will be fine, but it's just the sides that I'm going to use fiber optics or however I'm going to light them up, because I already drilled the holes. So I'm going to work on this today, figure out what I'm going to do once I get the lighting in, because I'm going to go ahead and light it anyways, and what I'm going to do with old Batman here. So I figured I'd give an update to everybody on what I'm doing with the Batwing, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Batwing. The solution I came up with. I got the 5mm RGB fastest slow flickering LED. Mount it in the back temporarily. I got to glue it in place. As you can see, the effect looks pretty cool. Once I got it mounted, then I won't use fiber optics. I'll probably use micro crystal clear or canopy glue to fill in the holes instead of fiber optics. I'm going to flip this over. Everybody get a look at it. And that's about where I'm going to mount it. I'll light block it with probably some tulip. I'll do the same for the opposite side. But I guess that'll be the best place to put them, is right where I drilled the hose. And then once I have them in place, glued in place, I can just cover it with tulip to light block it. So I'm going to continue working on this, but I think that's the best solution for the lighting for the cockpit of the Batwing. So I'll get working on this. Figured I'd share this with everybody. And once I get that all done, I'll film it. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Batwing. I've worked on the cockpit today, put the fiber optics in, everything's done. It turned out really good. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into a 9-volt battery. Everybody can get a look at it. Turn the overhead light off. And I think it turned out really cool. I want to point out with a toothpick, front of the cockpit, I have a SMD, lights up the front control panel. I use my Tamiya clear paints on the front to give it some color. Turn it around here. On the right side of the control panel, I have a 5mm RGB fast to slow flickering LED for the right control panel. I got 1mm fiber optic right here. The LED, I butted it up to the back side of the back of the cockpit wall, and I'll show that here in a little bit. I got a light block both the LEDs. On the left side here, I have the 3mm white flickering LED for the left control panel. I used 0.50mm fiber optics for this side, and I think it turned out just very nice. It looks pretty cool. And like I said, if I put Batman into the cockpit, he's going to block all that out with his arms. Use him for a demonstration here. You can see a little bit of it flickering with him in the cockpit, but I don't think I'm going to put him in once the model's done. I may be able to see if I can take the canopy off and be able to take him out, put the canopy back on, and just have it where he can be in it or not in it. But I think it turned out really cool. It looks pretty awesome. I'm going to flip this over in a minute and show everybody on the back side of this what I did and how I did it. So give me a minute here and I'll get back with everybody on the update of the cockpit for the Batwing. Alright everybody, back on the Batwing. Got it on the back side here of the Batwing, and here's the 3mm, and you can see the 0.50mm fiber optics I got right in here, and then I glued the LED here on the bottom of the cockpit, and then over here I butted the 5mm. I did use 5-minute epoxy, so everything's pretty much dry. Now all I got to do is light block both fiber optics. I got to light block both of the LEDs, probably with some tulip. I'll either do that tonight or tomorrow. I wanted to point that all out to everybody. You know, this is the 3mm white flickering with 0.50mm fiber optics. This side here is the 5mm RGB. Butted it up to the back of the control panel. Save on the fiber optics. I figured I'd try something different. Then I'll light block it with some tulip. I'll go ahead and flip it over again. Everybody can get a look at the cockpit again. I think it turned out really cool. I'm just taking my time with this kit like I do with all my kits. So I'm going to continue working on the Batwing. Figured I'd give everybody an update. Maybe soon I'll be able to finish this up, hit it with some more primer. I'll have to cover up the cockpit, use another coat of primer. So does the main part of the Batwing. I got to do the bottom of the Batwing. I sanded it the other day, the wings, and I'm going to have to hit that with some more primer. But at least this part is done. So I'm going to continue working on the Batwing. Figured I'd share this with everybody. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Batwing. On this side of the cockpit I have that 3mm white flickering LED. Wanted to add some color to the control panel. So I have 4 clear from Tamiya. I have the clear orange, the X-26, clear red, X-27, clear green, X-25, and clear yellow, X-24. I'm going to hook it up to a 9-volt battery. Turn the overhead light off. Now it's got some color. I don't know how that's going to show on the video. I left a few with just the white, but I wanted to add some color. Just didn't like it all white. Now all I got to do to the bottom is light block it. Figured I'd share this with everybody. What I'm doing with the cockpit. Just didn't like it all one color. So I'm glad that I got these clear in stock. I used a toothpick, mixed the paints up, and I used a toothpick and applied it to the fiber optics. Turned out pretty good. I'm going to continue working on this. Once I get it all done, I'll film it. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on the Batwing. Yesterday I worked on the light blocking. I used this black tulip. It's what I normally use for my light blocking. It's good stuff. 99% of the time this is what I use for my light blocking. Point out down here I light blocked it. The 3mm white flickering LED and some of the fiber optics. On the opposite side I did the same thing with the 5mm. I also used my my glue gun yesterday, and I glued down some wires. Not all of them, but just keep them all in one place. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over here in a minute and hook it up to a 9-volt battery, and that give everybody another look at it. And I'll be back here in a minute. Alright everybody, another look at the Batwing. I got it hooked up to a 9-volt battery. Turn the overhead light off. The front of the control panel is with the 805 SMD. Left side's got the 3mm white flickering, which I added the clear Tamiya colors to give it a little bit more than just the white flickering. Turned out good. Right side is the 5mm RGB color changer. I'm going to call this a wrap for part 4. All I got to do now is mask off the cockpit and hit it with some more primer. Needs another coat or two. So I'm going to say this is it for part 4. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers, and this is Tuesday, September 27th. I should have this up on my YouTube channel sometime today. And everybody have a good day.